Welcome to Align and Grind, the podcast where business strategy meets astrology.
And where we put the woo in the work.
I'm Karen, a holistic business coach, helping soul-led entrepreneurs build sustainable success without burnout or the BS.
And I'm Heather, a spiritual life guide, intuitive astrologer, and energy alchemist, here to help you align with your soul path.
Each week, we'll blend grounded strategy with cosmic insight, giving you the tools to grow your business your way.
By syncing up with your energy, your astrology, and your unique gifts. No more forcing what isn't aligned.
This is Align and Grind.
Let's do it the soul-led way. Yeah, move to the left. Look at that. You gotta, oh yeah, you should do the whole episode like that.
Yeah. That'd be very difficult. My neck would get very sore. I don't know
I
that.
want a halo. I got the moon. It's all right. You can have the sun.
Yeah.
Did I say record to computer? Yeah.
You did. Yep. Awesome.
All right. So Capricorn full moon is on Thursday, and Capricorn energy is CEO energy. So this is related to the 10th house of career. So what a better time for business owners to look at what we need to release, because full moons are a time of letting go and releasing and things coming to completion. So I love it. Keep going. That's so cute.
It's like triggering.
This is the best. So what are you like done with? What are you finished with? What projects is it time to wrap up? What's sustainable moving forward?
Right. Well, it's almost like as you're talking, it's my halo is shining. It's not tarnishing. Is what we're releasing. It's like you have to check in with and I think we talked about this before. What are your boundaries? Like, what is it, like as you're like, what are you willing to release? But your boundaries that were working a month ago aren't going to be the same boundaries that are working now.
That's such a good point. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is all about boundaries, rules, but yeah, what boundaries do you have put in place?
And adjusting them, and don't be afraid to adjust them.
And be radical, I think, with it too. Yeah. Because are you honoring yourself? The other side of this axis is Cancer, so home, family. And it's so important to have the work-life balance. We've talked about that quite a bit. But just for yourself, like, can you come into your home or just like home with yourself and feel good about what you're putting out into the world?
Right. Yeah.
Does it reflect your vision, your purpose? I don't know. I think that that's a great point with the boundaries.
Yeah.
That
really kind of came through as you were talking, like, yeah, that's totally like, and it's something that I think as a business person, we need to do regularly because as our business grows and transitions, we have to keep up with it.
Yeah.
And we have to as we get clear, we have to redefine those lines of what we're willing to cross and not cross, what we're willing to give away, and what we need to preserve.
I love that. So for me, for like a specific example, is like I'm a giving person. I want to help people. I like to be generous, and I like to offer like insight on things, but I can get overwhelmed if I have a lot going on. I have to be very mindful of what I promise to others because I want to keep my promises, but I need to know where my boundaries are so that I don't get overwhelmed and so that I'm not detracting from my goals and what's important to me.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a perfect example and something that I will let go of, which I could say people pleasing, but I'm trying not to say that. Old tendencies to take on more than I should.
And I think it then relates to confidence because you have to be, if in your business you're changing something, you have to be confident to be able to stand in it and be okay with the pushback, or that all of a sudden now people aren't showing up like they used to. So, 3 years ago when I started doing the lives every week, like nobody showed up. And then people started really showing up. And what I've noticed is people are dwindling. Like the number of people are showing up has slowed down. And I'm like, that's because I've outgrown it. So then this week I think I said to you, right? Like I chose not to live stream it into
Yeah.
the Facebook group, and nobody showed up. So it's like I'm back where I was 3 years ago when I first started, but now I'm clear because I'm inside my own community.
Right. So bringing people to you. I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to give away so much.
Right.
Now I need you to step to this side of the line. You've seen enough of what I offer and the value that I bring.
Yeah.
Now come into my world, and this is where I'll offer it.
So I have to be confident, right?
Right.
That was, so for me, if I wasn't confident, I likely would have forced myself to live stream, but I didn't. Like I stopped myself mid like setting things up. So as a business owner, when you make a radical change, you may think it's a radical change, but if you look how far you've come, it's not as radical as you think. And now to be confident that I'm going to take this step and it's going to feel like I'm starting all over again, but you're really not. Because you're further, it's kind of like the upwards staircase, right? That spiral staircase. You've worked your way up.
And the progress that you make through all of those skills and experiences, and that you're able then to assert yourself or to change things up, knowing that people are going to follow you, and also that you are making a decision from a place of wisdom and experience.
Yeah.
Something else that you said there too, with like how consistent you were for 3 years and people weren't showing up, but you are the type of person that will continue to just build that momentum. And I've heard people say this before, and I love it. There's no overnight success. We see those overnight success, but it's years in the making, and then all of a sudden we hear about the success.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a great lesson that I learned from you is just having that consistency. Now I think is a good checking in point where we can say, okay, I can be consistent and I can have structure, but what needs to be tweaked?
Right.
To fit into this ever-changing paradigm that we're living in.
Yeah, exactly. So as a business owner, what are you willing to push yourself out of that comfort zone? So we're comfortable here, but how are you going to push yourself out of that and be confident to stay there and not fall back into old patterns?
Right. With so much advancing with technology and this being like a constantly evolving field that we need to learn about, but we can also get sucked so into it that we're losing kind of our human connection. And some, it could take creativity away too. So we have to be cognizant of that. It's helpful, but it's also we need to be mindful of how we use it. A friend of mine who has a business, she went out today and went like door to door, went to businesses and introduced herself and brought information, and told people what she could offer. How many people go door to door anymore? How many people do in-person sales? And she got 5 sales in one morning just from introducing herself and having like live face-to-face interactions.
And people are craving it. People are craving the face-to-face. Yeah.
And it gets so easy to hide behind a screen and send your emails or post online. So I thought that was very confident.
Yeah.
So it's taking on a leadership role in whatever way that seems necessary for your business or innovative too.
Well, because it's interesting because the topic, right? So everything for us is about like it's a weekly topic, a theme.
Yeah.
This week is really like we're focusing on personalization. How are you personalizing your communications? How are you personalizing, nurturing that relationship? Because we can use AI to create the processes and the emails, but are you personalizing it? Like people don't want to be spoken to, they want to be spoken with.
Right.
So are you really showing up in a way that they feel you want to have a connection?
Right. And are you showing up authentic even with your posts online?
Right.
Because we see so many posts that look very similar, and you can spot it right off the bat.
Yeah.
And it's helpful. AI is really helpful.
Yeah.
We can generate a lot more content, but are you then going in and tweaking things so it's in your voice or what's that? I wrote it down. Vibe coding.
Yeah.
Vibe coding. Are you vibe coding your AI? So giving it specific prompts to understand like how you speak or the type of information that you want to convey. What are some good examples here, Karen?
So it might be, do you use certain language? Do you speak in a certain way? And one of the ways I use AI, like I'll have it help me create certain, like say an email journey for a certain segment. But what I'll end up doing is I'll take that as my draft and I'll refine it so it's me. It sounds like me. It's like my words, it's my language. And then I take that and I put it back into the AI and I'll say, for email number 1, as an example, right? This is what I ended up sending.
Right.
And then it comes back, thank you, I've updated my memory.
So it gets to know you.
So then you're giving it feedback. So it can then, the next output becomes more and more like you, where it's never, please know, it's never a copy and paste. You never just copy paste and then let it be.
No.
You always have to refine it. You need to take the 2 to 3 minutes, but your time saving is, instead of taking the 30 minutes to write the original email, you're taking 2 minutes to write the prompt, taking 2 minutes to refine it, feeding it back in, refining it. So now in 7 minutes, you've got a 10 email journey that actually sounds much more like you, that you're then doing the final tweaks as you're programming it into your CRM, right?
Yeah, makes
so yeah.
Do you find that, because I've noticed that not everyone has AI, because we all, I think, have some type of relationship with our AI if we're in the business world. But have you noticed that some people don't have that personalized experience? I don't know why that is, why some people do, when some people don't. Maybe like I naturally might have vibe coded mine just from how I talk, but the examples it will give me, even for normal everyday things, will be like, oh, just think of it as a Saturn return and transformational. You know, it gives me examples based on what it knows my interests are.
Right.
So,
and I think it's all about knowing how to use AI. People don't realize you have to actually train it. You have to give it a purpose. You have to give it an identity. And then once it takes that identity, then it will start to vibe code.
Does yours have a name?
I have not named it yet, no.
Oh, it didn't give itself a name? Mine's Arden.
Oh, it's funny you say that, because one of my clients, hers is Ralph. And I'm like, oh, so I actually asked my AI, I'm like, going, so
what's your name?
What would you like me to call you? What's your name? I don't have one.
Like, if you could make a name for yourself, what would you pick? Oh, you wouldn't?
And it would not pick a name.
Oh, how strange.
So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, mine came up with a name. I said, why did you pick that name? I forgot what he said.
So, are you using Gemini? Are you using OpenAI?
Chat.
So OpenAI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Is that the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah. ChatGPT is owned by OpenAI.
Got it.
So, but so it wouldn't give me one.
Very strange. I might have had to pry. I can't remember.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I have multiple chats. I don't just have one, right? So I have one that for each kind of topic. So like it's very specific.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like I don't, right? Because any type of communication is like, so it's the CRM is just this chat.
Okay.
And then the daily insights is just this chat.
Got you. So on the same platform or different?
So I have the same account.
Okay.
But I have likely 40 different chats.
Oh, yeah.
That I interact with based on whatever I'm doing and what I'm creating.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like for each live training, it has its own chat.
Okay.
Because that's why it now has it set up where you can do projects. So the project is live training, but then each under there is a different chat for each live training.
That's so Capricorn. No, that's good. That's organized.
So
the other thing that we have right now is throughout this month, so many retrogrades. So Neptune just went retrograde. So this is the time to, anytime we have a retrograde, it's like revise, refine, revisit. And Neptune is all about our dreams. So this is a time to really look at, what are your dreams? Is it practical that they could become reality? And I think we need to stretch that a little, because I am woo, so I feel like we can manifest a lot of things, but we also don't want to get caught in that delusion. So it's the perfect opportunity, the window, to really look at how far you've come these first 7 months of the year and for your business, and then revise your goals, your dreams, make that long-term vision, and then see how far you've kind of made it there, and then what is sustainable for the future. and then all the other planets, everything's going retrograde this month. So in general, it's a good time to just use it as like okay, here's an edit point.
So, yeah, so with so many going into retrograde, we're revising, we're realigning, then how does that affect like contracts or starting? Like I'm thinking from a sales perspective, right? Because a sale is a contract, right? And normally my understanding is when Mercury goes into retrograde, you don't want to do any contract signing.
I don't buy into that, but a lot of people say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there, with the retrogrades, is there an impact on making commitments during this time period? Or is there a way to kind of overcome it? Like as far as setting intentions, right? Because as a business, you're wanting that sales funnel to always be filling.
Right.
And so at what point is there a way to kind of overcome that? I don't want to use the word stigma, but it almost is like, do we just extra caution? Is there an impact?
My feeling with it is that, like Mercury, for instance, like it's closer to us, we're going to feel the effects more. Yes, there have been studies and things on impacts to like travel and communication issues. But I really honestly believe it's always our intention going in. Okay. So for a while, and this is a very specific Mercury retrograde story, I would think, oh shit, every time it goes retrograde, I have a car issue. And I had a car issue. And I think that was my mind projecting that. So now I go into it like, oh, this is more of a potent time to communicate. And still I think very important to like look and edit and revise and go through all of our our files, double check things. I think that's really important. Definitely don't stop with making sales and getting contracts and moving forward with your business. But I do think it's also important to ask for clarifiers. So if you don't understand what someone's saying, repeat it back to them and make sure that you do understand so that there's not communication issues. If you have a contract to sign, just make sure that you're going through all of the details, double check it. Let it sit for a day. If you don't have to make the commitment, if it's something that's not going to benefit you, then you could wait it out a little bit because it is kind of more of a retractory or retractory. How do you say that? Refractory? I don't know. Take a step back time.
Retraction.
Retraction. That's perfect. And so you can take that time to just get everything in order before moving forward. But if you have like something in the works, then by all means, sign away. Yeah.
So really just kind of dotting your I's and crossing your T's and just double checking. Okay. Yeah. Cause I so many going into retrograde. What does that mean from like
like selling a house?
Selling a house, signing contracts. Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to it because I think we can get so much done in this time period. I feel like it's a little pause, like a little like, let's go on vacation during this time. And just give yourself a little bit of a breathing room because our Uranus just moved into Gemini and holy shit, the next 7 years are going to be just rapid fire.
Because it's a 7-year cycle, right?
It moves 7 years through every zodiac sign. So 84 years around is the orbit.
Okay.
So it's been in Taurus. Oh my gosh, I'm bad with math. I can't think right now. It's been in Taurus for a bit. And now 2018, right? Yeah. And then, now in Gemini. So Gemini is all about our nervous system. So taking the time to work on your nervous system, do the somatic exercises. If you feel overwhelmed, whatever throughout the day, whatever you can do, especially in a business setting to just reset yourself. And I have some weird tips, like walking in a figure 8. You don't want to do that in the office, but if you can, do it in the bathroom or down the hall, it resets your nervous system. I'm sure there's a lot better options too.
Interesting. Or if you can find a pattern in your office where people don't realize you're doing a figure 8.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're able to kind of walk around desks or pillars, as you're turn around. Yeah.
Or just tell people.
Yeah.
Like, and then they can join you. You can make a train.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, our nervous system, communication, it's taking in a lot of knowledge. We're going to be taking in so much knowledge. It's can shake us up too. So depending on where it's at in your chart, this is like the cosmic shake up. Like
Okay.
we don't want boring. It will not be boring. So whatever you need to get back on your path, it'll be something completely unexpected that could
Okay.
be shaking. So just keep that in mind. We have to be so adaptable. Doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, just unexpected thing.
Right. Yeah.
And really focusing on communication, transportation, AI, technology, all the things. So the
Yeah.
next 7 years will be really interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take this as your downtime during all these retrogrades. Like take a
Yeah,
little
this is
break.
the planning,
Some-
right? This is where you get to, and I think when we first started, you were talking about it as far as, like setting goals that are realistic.
Mhm.
But I think this is a time where you can allow yourself to dream the possibilities,
Yes.
right? Like what's coming to mind is like the Kermit the Frog song. Do you remember that?
No,
Maybe
maybe.
under the rainbow.
That's Dorothy.
Yeah, but it's a Kermit the song. So Kermit the Frog, he's singing the song about a rainbow, and it's like dreaming the impossible.
Okay.
But so like, and that's what's coming to mind now as we're
Mhm.
talking is like during the downtime, allow yourself to dream. What is, it may seem impossible, but what is it? That doesn't mean it's going to be
Mhm.
the reality, but
Yeah.
allowing yourself to kind of go big
Mhm.
and then say, oh, if that was my reality, how do I get from this reality to that reality?
Mhm.
And just allowing yourself to mentally, emotionally kind of go through the steps without
Yeah.
it being concrete.
I kind of love that, right? Dream big.
Yeah.
We don't have to know how things manifest and how they happen. But
Mhm.
if you have that big dream and that big vision, you can break it all down.
Right.
So then when you emerge from your cocoon here, your hiding place, your vacation, then you can take one step.
Right. Yep.
And then take the next step. And
And
it
see what
doesn't have to
happens.
be overwhelming.
Right.
But that's the other thing too. I feel like whenever I take a step forward in the direction of my dreams and the universe is like, oh, she's doing the thing. So I'm going to give her more of what she wants.
Yeah.
Then like just shit lines up for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like I didn't
Yeah.
even try to make that leap, but as soon as I did, all this other
Yeah.
support just poured in.
Well, and I think it's all like, I think of it as a universal energy saying, so she's confident enough to do that. That
Mhm.
means she's ready to do the next.
Right.
And now we can provide that opportunity for her to
Mhm.
take the next step, to
Yeah.
go, right? And when they
Yeah.
say go big or go home, it comes down to you saying, yeah, like I'm home,
Mhm.
but I'm going to be even more at home there.
Right. Now you're motivating me. What challenge should we have this week?
Oh,
Pay attention to your dreams too.
Yeah.
That's another big thing. Ground yourself. I meant to say that with the Uranus and Gemini. Outside time.
Oh,
That's probably better than the
yeah.
figure eight. Just get outside, get your feet on the grass.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's funny. So dreams.
Big time.
Okay, I had a very weird dream last week when I was at the cottage.
Okay, I can't wait to hear. I love weird dreams.
And I'm trying to remember it
Yeah.
all, but like it was, and I haven't been remembering my dreams. I used to remember them a lot,
Mhm.
and just with it, I haven't. And so this one was really, it was actually about, it was underwater.
Oh, and that's so Neptunian.
Yeah. And so like it was under, like, yeah, I was
Wow.
like, I was underwater, but it was a drowning.
And did you drown? Or you don't
Yeah.
know? Oh, you did. Ooh, that's interesting. That's sad.
I know, but I didn't end up dying
Mhm.
or anything. Like
Yeah.
it was literally, that's why I'm like, so I was underwater. This whole thing was going on. I can't remember
Yeah.
what it was, but then I was being held down.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, yeah. It was,
So that could be like emotions and emotions being stuck down, not rising up,
yeah.
perhaps. Because you've had so much going on.
Yeah. So then, but I ended
Yeah.
up waking up before I died.
Well, good. And I'm glad
Yeah.
you're here.
I know. Right. But yeah, so as you're talking about dreams, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, yeah, like that was kind of weird. It was water, it was under, and
You know what I think is
Yeah.
important with dreams too is that, like, I had one the other night that I kept stalling going to a yard sale. I'd drive by, I'd go back, I'd go and I'd think about it. I'd sit in my car for a minute, I'd take a drink of my Big B, and then I finally was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the yard sale. So I got there and I walked up the driveway and they had everything closed down. So when I woke up, instead of trying to analyze all of that, I mean, that's a pretty easy dream, but
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I am stalling on something that I need to or make progress on, or else I'm gonna miss my opportunity. But I think also in dreams, if we just wake up and it's like, how did I feel? Did I
Right.
feel afraid? Did I feel whatever it is?
Yeah.
And just writing that down, like what feeling came through. Because it's so easy to get like on the online or on the online. Go online and look up dream meanings or look at books, but really we know like how we feel just based on how we feel.
Yeah, and I think for me it was just a frustration, right? So
Yeah.
like I woke up frustrated because I was like, dang it, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And then so now I'm like, oh, but and since then the house sold. So I think there was that was likely part of the frustration.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, oh, we did all this stuff and now and I shouldn't, I'm not upset, I'm happy because it was 3 weeks. Like so it's not like it was 3 months, right? It was still quite quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the so I'm wondering too, yeah. I'll see if I remember them from now on. I'll set the intention to remember.
Yeah. The next few weeks here, write those down for sure.
Yeah. So
but yeah, then yesterday you and I were talking about this, just kind of looking at during this time period, like what are really innovative ways that we can run our business or market our business, and taking some different approaches. I don't know. I don't know if just, rules are changing, things are changing, the world is changing. And even with it, I know that there's a lot of fear around small businesses too. And I think that we have to unplug from some of that, be aware, but unplug from some of the drama and the fear. Because again, just like the Mercury retrograde, when we allow that to get into our mind and we kind of embody it, that, oh, this is going to be rough because of the economy or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think there's, we had talked about a couple of things that are happening around the world, right? And a big one right now, we're recording this on Tuesday, the 8th of July. But, like yesterday, right? Del Monte, a 139-year-old company, filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, crazy.
Because of what has changed and what is changing. And so instead of looking at it from a place of fear, it's a place of, okay, so chapter 11 doesn't necessarily the business is going out of business. It means it's going to change.
Yeah.
It has to change what it's doing to meet the demands of today because what it was doing for 139 years is not working.
Such a good example of this.
Right. So all of a sudden now they're, Del Monte is going, okay, that's it. We're calling it quits on the old. We need fresh people to come in because that's what happens with chapter 11. They send people in to oversee the company and they're going to come in with fresh eyes and they're going to make it lean. They're going to make sure that it still meets the requirements. They're going to look at profit centers. So they're changing internal expectations. They're changing internal communications, which means the end product is going to be different. The same type of quality, but it's going to have a different look and feel to it. So can smaller, same price, right? That's where they're going to see profit. So I think we can take a cue from that to say, okay, I don't want to be fearful of this change, but if they're making this dramatic of a change, then me as a small business owner, how am I going to use that as inspiration to say, what do I need to change?
Right. And that it's okay to change too.
Yeah. Because can you imagine 139 years doing the same thing and expanding and being the number one, canned company in the world, and now they're going to change.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
But
that's how much our world is changing too. Yeah. So on a smaller scale, like what can we do or how can we do things differently? And maybe this is a time to incorporate more of your dreams. I think sometimes we can hold ourselves back from things.
Yep.
And so for the full moon on Thursday, it's the perfect full moon to do a vision board. So even though we're closing out a chapter, I think preparing ourselves for this future vision after we've kind of recalibrated it. Yeah, I think even if you just make a little
Oh,
vision board. I think that that would be a really good idea.
yeah.
It's the moon is in Capricorn earth sign, so even like writing out your
Yeah.
goals, and you told me a great thing, I think you mentioned it last week too, is just saying, I want this.
Yes.
And
Yep.
so just stating it very firmly and clearly, and you could write that out, you could bury it,
Mhm.
and think of it symbolically as like a seed being planted,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah.
And then the sun in Cancer, so you could also do a water ritual.
Yeah.
You could, even just a salt bath. I think that's always a great thing for a full moon. But really getting, looking at, here's this cycle, and
Yeah.
I'm closing out and I'm restarting.
Yeah.
I'm reassessing, and then I'm going all in.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very,
I think
it's
that
a
all in
powerful
thing
one.
is going to be important
I think so too.
because I think that's what the universe is going to take the cue from,
Mhm.
especially for your business. Like if you're not willing to go all in, then why is the universe going to go all in for
Right.
you? So do the work.
Yeah. And have,
Yeah.
for me, I know it's the structure. I can be so dispersed with different projects.
Yeah.
And not to say that I can't have those other projects, but what is my main business? What is my main objective,
Right.
my main goal, my main dream?
Yeah.
And I need to, just because I've got it all set up and I've got the flow and I've got all the systems in place, doesn't mean I can abandon that and jump into other projects.
Yeah.
So I can still collaborate with people and have other projects. That's great, but that always needs to come second to my main dream and my main goal. I'm figuring this out in real time right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's like
Yeah.
and that's where, why the woo and the work.
Right.
Because when you do the work, you have those foundational structures in place, then that's what you get to fall back on.
Right.
You get to explore and expand and follow your intuition and then say, but this is all built on a solid foundation.
Yeah.
Because I put the structure in place.
Mhm.
In the 3D world. It doesn't matter what's going on elsewhere. In
Mhm.
this world, in this reality, everything is on a solid rock foundation.
And I love that so much. And I'm not trying to just plug here, but that is why you need like someone to walk you through that. If you don't know how to get those things set in place,
Yeah.
I would not have known. So,
and
Yeah.
most people don't. And like that's the
Mhm.
thing. And like because we follow our dreams.
yeah.
Like very few
Yeah.
people bring it with the structure. They've learned the structure someplace. If they already have it, it's because they've learned it someplace.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah.
Having that in place. And if you need help, then finding your gifts and getting motivated on your purpose,
Yeah.
that's my thing. So
Yeah. That's why we
I
work.
guess we should bring those things up every now and then. That's what we do.
That's what we do. That's what we do. That's why we work
Yes.
well together.
That's right.
So, okay, so Thursday, full
Mhm.
moon. Write out your wishes, write out what you want clearly, concisely, and
Confidently.
yeah, confidently. And you know what? It would be fun. It doesn't matter when you're watching this. If you're watching this 2 years from now, it doesn't matter. If you do a vision board, comment, show a picture of it.
Oh,
in the
yeah, I would
comments.
love that. Love
Yeah.
vision boards. They really work.
Yeah.
They
So
work.
pop them in the comments.
Yeah.
Let's see them.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
we will be back next week.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
Enjoy your
get
full
some
moon.
rest. Enjoy the
Yes.
moon. Have a vacation.
Yes. Take a rest.
Take care.
Bye.